Hey, Ophelia.
Hello, ladies.
How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Oh, good. Yeah. Doing okay. Everyone else? Is everyone else okay?
I'm good because I have the best setup at the school with my stuff.
Yeah.
You guys, it's top notch.
What inspired you to make that change?
My sanity. Can I say that word here in this group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I get it. Because this is so distracted. I get it. That one was for me.
No, I just, I don't know. I needed to stand because, let's be honest, I'm basically entertaining while teaching. So, I needed to do the dances and stuff. And I just wanted more space and to be organized, and everything's just wonderful over here. It's seriously like I feel like I just want to move in and not go home.
Is it cold or?
Yeah, because
It's cold.
because there's a reason it's cold.
I have a hot water bottle.
Because there's a big, huge piece of wood underneath here because it was on top of carpet and you can't write on carpet, right? So I have a giant piece of like plywood it's taller than me. It's probably 6 feet at least. And I lifted it by myself and put it on the thing, and I was dripping in sweat. And so I like turned the air down and I was like, Jenny, just for a little bit, I need to cool down. So that's why, because I was
I
very
have
sweaty.
my 2 cups of hot.
She's being a little dramatic. It's not that cold. Anyway, okay.
It looks a little serious. Okay, well, I have my screen shared here for another 1-star review. Guess who? This one's a little tricky. They're going to get harder every week. It's a gradual thing. So the review says, I do not like the message that this gives. If you keep insisting, they will eventually say yes. That is a terrible message and should not be read to children. Terrible.
So are we supposed to guess the book? Is that the
Yes,
idea?
And you weren't here last week. This is a 1-star review. Guess who? So this is a 1-star review of a popular children's book.
All right. It'd be like Cinderella or one of those ones, like where the bloke keeps banging on about something and then finally the woman says yes.
I love how you worded that.
Okay, so Shan's guess is Cinderella.
Or like
Anyone
one of
else
those
besides
fairy
Heather?
tales.
Oh, me. I think it's Do You Like Green Eggs and Ham? Green Eggs and Ham.
Does anyone else have
No, it's just Green Eggs and Ham.
Oh no, it's Brexit, the untold story.
Correct.
Ding, ding,
Or
ding.
Trump, the unknown story. There you go. Trump.
no?
Too far, Shan. Too far.
It is Green Eggs and Ham.
Ah,
Okay, all right. You early years teachers, you know all the little kid books. I'm gonna have to find better ones for next week. I was like scrambling to find it, and some of them are so obvious, some of them are way too hard. So anyway, just a reminder why we're here: connection between teachers, collaboration, celebrations, and also, we're here for the nerds. We're the nerd posse that just want to try new things and talk about things we're doing. So, in honor of that, I thought we might talk this week about reading conferences and how those are going in virtual school. I wrote when and why, thinking, when do you meet with your kids? Like maybe how often, or maybe even what time of the day, or like what are you finding successful? And then also why? Like why are you meeting with students? And not just because it's on the ES teacher infographic, clearly. And I'm just realizing for Ophelia, I don't have specialists on here because I know you're doing live sessions.
Yeah, it's okay. I can still chime in. I have my 2 pence.
Yeah, and my hope is that maybe in this discussion, something will come up where it'll be like, ooh, that's a great idea, or I never thought about arranging my schedule that way. So I'm using Canva, and I'm just gonna make this document as we go and kind of take notes. We don't have to go in order, but the text box is in the KG box. Does anyone want to go first? Oh, okay. Heather and Jenny.
Oh, for reading only. Okay. Reading, we've actually just changed our reading conferences a little bit, like the focus, to focus more on like phonics, because even though there were like mini lessons daily, what we were finding is that maybe kids were not either
Accessing.
I'm sure that's a nice word. So in order to kind of keep them up to maybe where they should be at this point in the year, we have now changed our reading conferences to focus more on phonics.
Only KG2.
Yeah, not our KG1 friends. Sounded very like you. Yeah, which I feel has been really good. And I feel like it's more where they're at right now, based on kind of how they've gone this week. We meet with our KG2 friends individually. We don't meet with them as a group because we do writing as a group and we do other things as groups. And so the reading ones we do independently, which has been really good because I found that when it was in a group with a 5-year-old, it was a little bit more challenging. So I feel like it's great. I feel like it's going really well doing it independently like that.
And KG1, do we want to know about KG1 or just K?
Yeah, we want to know about
I know
K1.
everything.
Come on.
For KG1, for the past couple of weeks, we've been doing a lot of strategies out of the reading version of this, of acting it out and moving. And now we kind of have realized that maybe that's too much acting it out and moving, and we've come back to, or now we're reading big books and
Yeah.
modeling strategies and just having more of a shared reading.
And it's more like a play in the sense of like I did a puppet for my reading conferences for K1, and like their eyes were just like it was like a show, you know. So that's why I said we're entertaining down here too. Yeah, so that's been really fun, and they're getting really into it.
I think that wraps it up.
Are the KG1 conferences one-on-one as well, or do you have those?
No. Small groups.
What motivated you to pick reading for one-on-one and not another subject area?
Excellent question, Caitlin. Heather?
For me, it started, well, we originally did not do it. We had small groups originally. And then we did a week of one-on-one just to kind of gauge where they were at, because we found that we could not do that in a group one at all. And so we did it 1 week, and it just went so well. And I felt like the kids were really into it, and I felt like they liked having that attention, and it was really like specific for them. And also like we both have a student who's like way
Down the road.
yeah. We'll send him your way, Caitlin. So
Well, I assume it's my son.
I'm talking K2 here. Yeah, so I felt like the response I got from the students doing those conferences one-on-one, because they do have so many group conferences, was really meaningful. And so so we kept it that way, and I feel like it's gone really, really well. And I don't feel like there's anything lacking by doing that. At this point anyways. Maybe in the future, maybe we'll do a group reading, but I feel like right now this is what's working for our students.
We're constantly adjusting and talking and
To our parents' demise.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Anyone else want to share? 3, 4. Yeah.
Woohoo!
What? Okay. So
when you said to your parents despise, this is like my fear of changing the schedule and having parents flip out, because it has like, we are now on week 2 of like almost perfect attendance. And I know that like, it's been like such a big deal. And like we celebrate in afternoon meetings, and I like YouTube fireworks, and like we celebrate and we dance, like anything, like, you know what I mean? Like just showing up. Like
That's a great idea. I'm putting that. Sorry.
What?
YouTube fireworks. I'm putting that in the notes.
No, like even I do award ceremonies, and I have award music in the background. Like I'm also quite entertaining, Heather. The poor like custodian, when he comes in, he's like, what is she doing? Anyways, so we really try, we focus on each kid having an opportunity once a week to read to myself or Miss Vidya or Miss Mosma for 10 minutes. So they have that book time, book talk is what we call it. And we sent out a calendar invite, and that's really helped with the consistency. And that's really like just talking about what they're reading. It's not necessarily at that moment skill-based or thinking about the reading continuum. It's more like, are they enjoying what they're reading? Do they have access to books that they're choosing? Like that's my big push in 4th grade. We're working on nonfiction books, and I'm asking my kids, like, what's your connection? Like, why did you choose this book? Don't just choose it because I asked you to do it on our assignment sheet. Like, what made you choose this book? And so like that's been a really interesting talk during those one-on-one conversations. We do have our reading conferences, which is a group, which happens once a week for 25 to 30 minutes, depending on the group. And that's about 4 to 5 students. And it's according to their reading abilities. I try to gauge it so that I can differentiate and scaffold according to who the students are. That's been really great because, you know, that's my mini lesson, and then they get the mini lesson in the morning meeting, and then they're going off, and that's like the check-in point where I give them activity. We go back over the slides, and then I can really focus on those EL students as well. And Mrs. Akash also pulls those kids one-on-one throughout the week too. But like, it's my fear, like I want more time, right? Isn't like, even in the classroom, what's the biggest fear for teachers? What's the biggest like obstacles? Time. And like, even when I shift the schedule a little bit, I'm like, hey, you're gonna be in this group. Like it takes 2 weeks for them to finally show up in the right group. And then I'm missing time. Like if I didn't switch it over. So like I told, like the whole team is like fully on board that like, if inshallah, we come back and have to do virtual school, like, let's really make this schedule more adaptable. And even like we were talking, putting a Google form out and asking parents, like, if you could help like make a perfect schedule for your child, like what can we do? Because parents are really like on board with that. Yes, they're independent, but like it's been really, really hard. With independent, it also makes more opportunities for kids not to show up, because they're kind of just like assuming that they are, because they're grade 4 and they're going to handle it. But you can have a calendar invite and it might ding, but doesn't mean they're going to click on it.
True that.
True that.
I'd never thought that idea to like start the day with a mini lesson and then have that follow up, the small group conference time as your follow up or your check-in.
It's been awesome.
Really valuable.
It's a great, like, again, we're like trying to juggle. So like on my days that I have the whole group reading, I do my mini lesson reading during the morning, and like I switch it over for math. So like it really takes away that time, and then you can focus in on what that group needs.
So then you switch, like for your homeroom days, your 3 homeroom days, do you focus on a different subject each morning meeting?
Yeah, reading, writing, and math. Sometimes I do, like right now we're doing a big project in social studies. So like we talked about maps today.
Yeah.
But like we read while we did our maps.
Yeah. Cool. And I think those 1 time a week book talks where you're discussing connection and engagement, like 1/3 of our report card comment is reporting on students' reading engagement. So that's, I think it's super valuable, and to track that growth. I heard something this morning on a podcast that.
Is it the literacy one?
I think it was.
It was. I know it.
it was like the system wants us to create able readers.
Yes.
But as teachers, our goal should be to create avid readers.
Yeah. Like, and I think about like novel studies and like how I struggled as a kid, and I kind of like just like when a novel study came in class, it was just hard for me. But when I got to choose like the actual book, it was so much more meaningful to me. And that's like when I really loved reading.
Cool. Sorry, I froze when I was talking. Just the idea of creating, schools want us to create able readers, but as teachers, we should be trying to create avid readers, because when you have avid readers, the ability will come. It's just a natural thing. So just interesting. Cool. Another grade level want to share? Or I'm making this box over here for library. Graham, you joined us, but now your camera's off. Great.
That kid.
Graham, are you there? Hello. He's there.
Yeah, I have no idea what you were talking about. So
we're just talking about how we use our.
I was. Yeah. We've enjoyed longer meetings. I think more time is the thing that really has helped us. We extended the times for our reading, our writing, our math conferences, and having more time just takes the pressure off, and it just feels much more natural, and you can just have a little chat and have some fun and really make it not all about reading. You know, it feels like everything before, we just felt like we were trying to fit it all in such a limited time. So we've really enjoyed being able to, just like Val was saying there, just talk about the books and why are we choosing this book and why are we not choosing other types of books right now. And we've done a little bit of giving them different forums to collect data on their own reading and writing. So trying to help them notice the patterns in their writing and in their reading, and I wonder why that's happening and things like that. So just really grade 1 is so much about learning about themselves and building identities and understanding what helps and hinders their learning and what learning feels like in different situations, and how they can be in charge of that, how they can change that, or how they can. So all of those conferences feel like just an opportunity for us to help them notice more about themselves as readers and writers, and just create those avid, enthusiastic, energetic readers that you're talking about, Caitlin, there.
How much time are you talking there, Graham?
So they'll read with us for pretty much 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes at a time, and they'll have time with me, and then in a group of 2, and then with Saima in a group of 4. And then this current little block of time with Saima, they're doing readers theater. We're sort of building up to a little performance, which is kind of giving an extra, just changing things up so that they have like a bit of a purpose. They're heading towards this performance, practicing the role. We're getting all those things in there, like expression and comprehension and fluency. All those things kind of tie in together through this project that we're building towards. So just given, again, it's samey, isn't it, virtual school? So we're trying to change things up a little bit. So hopefully that's given some different, something different to read about, and given a little bit of a different purpose right now.
Are you going to welcome others to come watch the performances? Because that would be awesome. I think our kids would love that, and that could spark off like on our own. What a great idea.
Yeah,
pressure, Graham.
No, we'd love to. The problem is to do the performances. We have children who are going to be out of the country, so we're not sure that we'll be able to do all the performances live. Currently we have the idea that they'll record all their parts You know, they're going to get their costumes on, the backgrounds, whatever they need, and then we'll clip all their parts together and we're going to have a movie day where they celebrate, they can watch each other's performances and kind of have some fun with it. So, you know, like get popcorn in, but we'd be happy to share them or to visit your classes, or, you know, maybe we could get small groups to come and read to other grade levels. That would kind of be cool. Or we could just share the videos with you as well. We could do both or all of those things.
All of the above.
Yeah, maybe I'll, once we have a little more information, I might send something out and see how we might share that.
I love that idea of reading with a purpose and like working together for a goal.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I leave that out of reading, but that's a really great idea. Philia.
Yeah, my turn chiming in. You know, I enjoy being on these literacy lunch or just talking with classroom teachers, because I get to see what you're doing or hear what you're doing and then reinforce that with the students. So of course for library, I'm not going to be able to always have one-on-one virtually. But the next upcoming library assignment is to have students choose whatever they want to read and read it for 1 minute. With expression, whatever they're learning in their classroom about reading, and then myself, Miss Andrea, and their classmate will comment on that. So that is, I guess, my way to have a one-on-one conference with them. And my goal is, if we continue with virtual school, inshallah, as you said, Valerie, I want to continue with mystery readers. Because when I have my live session, whether it's going to be a parent, a student, a teacher, a staff member, for them to read, because there's times when we did it in school and I said, okay, go home and practice this. When you come back, you're going to read this way. We're going to ask you a question. So like for grandma, I can say, hey, remember in grade 1, you guys doing a performance? How about you put that costume on when you are the mystery reader? So I want them to do everything from the classroom in library class. And I want to just keep reiterating, remember you did this, remember when you did this. I want you to do the same thing. Now, all the things you practice in your classroom, you're going to now do it here in the library as well. So not that it's something separate. So I am really interested now in the upcoming lesson to hear whoever is reading or those in younger grades saying their letters or the words that they know, and not just with a just read to read, but with expression, with feelings. And I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to hearing them, or some are going to record themselves and seeing them, and then being able to conference with them virtually. Thank you for listening to me ramble.
That sounds awesome. I was thinking about the idea of giving comments, giving feedback, and having, like, from the teachers and other students. I've just finished that John Hattie, the recording that's old, you know, but it's all about giving feedback and how important it is. And that's like one of the best things you can do to promote growth in learning. And Jas and I were talking earlier how, like, we've been given the opportunity to give so much feedback, much more than we ever have. And it's in voice recordings that can be listened to again, or it's in written notes that can be read again. It's not just like one-on-one in the classroom where you spit out a couple sentences of whatever's in your head and then you move to the next student. You know, it's tangible things.
Yes. So then I want to add on to that too, because I know that you guys have all practiced, not just saying, oh, that was good, that sounds nice. And I'm always saying meaningful feedback. So I can say, remember when you were in class, you told me what you like about it. So even now, we're still working on that in library. Like, okay, when you comment, even if you're giving a critical feedback, you need to tell me why. And we're not there yet, but I want to remind them, in the classroom, your teacher gives you feedback with more information. So I want you to do the same thing during our library lessons.
Yeah, a new thing I'm going to add on because of this thing I just watched was we do a weekly Flipgrid post, and it alternates for reading and writing. And I always go through and I give a comment for every kid. But now because of in the PD, they were saying how like, yeah, giving feedback is the first step, but then the kids have to be able to interpret that feedback and pull out a next step. And so instead of just having them listen to my comment, because who really knows if they're doing that, but then to reply and to like paraphrase what I said or tell me what their next step is going to be. Just to make sure they're like, one, actually listening to it, but then also they know what that feedback actually means. And they're receiving the message that I'm trying to give them, kind of to keep it going. Anyway, third grade, yeah, we're doing live lessons and some partnership calls. I'm not doing any more one-on-ones just because the way our schedule's working, which I really miss, but we'll switch it up again when the time is right. Cool. So time's just about up. I'm wondering if there's anything from this conversation we had today that might impact what you're doing tomorrow or next week or in the future. If anyone wants to share, I'll definitely be using YouTube fireworks.
I'll be sure to share that link.
I will continue. Sometimes it feels like a lot, because when kids respond on Seesaw saying, I like this, I always say, well, we say, why do you like it? And I think it's important. Sometimes it's hard to, when you're going through 100 Seesaw comments, to say it over and over. I think it's, and then also adding on to the bit of replying to it. Maybe that could be a next step in the evolution.
Cool. Thanks, Jenny. You may go now. Everyone else, you can't leave until you say something.
Exit ticket.
I was going to say just the same thing about feedback. Just maybe Kristen and I might have a little think about how we're offering feedback and how purposeful is it and how much is it received and how, interpreted or whatever. And also just the idea of maybe we've toyed with the idea of live mini lessons as well, just to change things up a little bit. So maybe we might be thinking about that a little bit more. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I also love that idea of doing a live lesson first. And then later in the day when you do your check-in, it's related to that.
I never contribute anything. Guys, record this and put it on YouTube.
Well, Valerie, it's a full house because I wrote that down as well. I was thinking the morning meeting, I just have lots of fun, but I'm thinking, is there a way of incorporating a mini lesson into it? Well, thank you, Val.
You did it. You can retire now.
It's my exit.
Your exit ticket complete. All right. Well, thanks for showing up, everyone.
Thank you.
For having this conversation with
Thank
me.
you, Caitlin.
That's later. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.